This is Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today, your source for all things local. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, and we've got a great show for today. Let's take a look and see who's on the list for today. First up, we'll hear from a South Park art teacher about an exciting new addition to the walls of the school. Then we'll hear about a great organization for parents of children with disabilities called Down to Earth Oshkosh. The UW Oshkosh Theater Department is here to tell us about their upcoming performance, and we'll talk about the Oshkosh Gallery Walk happening on the last Saturday of each month. We'll learn about an October tradition in Oshkosh known as Oktoberfest, and finally we'll wrap it up with a fun cupcake contest with Women in Aviation and a new segment of Focus on Health. And so our first guests for today is Erica Welbes and Barb Herzog from South Park Middle School Art Edition and SOAR. So first off, Barb, if you could just tell us a little bit about what is SOAR, what does it stand for?
Sure, Emily. The acronym stands for Special Opportunities for Artist Residencies. I represent a nonprofit board, all volunteer, who fund hands-on active learning in various arts throughout all the public schools in Oshkosh.
Great, and I understand that SOAR gives out different grants and that kind of thing. Can you talk
do.
about a little bit about that?
Our board is into fundraising, and we strive to earn $15,000 to $20,000 every year so that we can support projects such as the one that Emily put forth last year. We have funded anything from music to art to science to performing arts, visual arts, and typically we spend about $15,000 a year and fund at least 15 projects per year throughout the public schools of Oshkosh.
Wow, and I understand that SOAR was something that helped make this new project possible. Erica, if you want to tell us a little bit about this new addition to South Park Middle School.
Yeah, I wrote a grant, my first grant ever, and I was able to build a 92 square foot mural out of clay tiles, so they're shoe prints that were from everyone in the school. So everyone who entered our building, I tried to get a shoe print tile from everybody, and colored them different colors, and we created essentially a park in our main entrance. It was a long white wall. Excellent. And so now we've got something a little more colorful.
And who were the artists that kind of worked alongside you when you were putting this project together?
Mm-hmm. Well, I found the artist through another art teacher, and she, her name is Stacy Hine, and she's done different projects before, and I saw some of her work and met with her, and the project kind of came together there. So
Great. We
came up with the ideas and worked together on how to build it, how to go about it, and how we can really involve everybody. So
Great.
It was really fun.
And where exactly is this mural located? Is it in the lobby or is it in the cafeteria area? And what are the tiles made out of?
They're made out of clay. So they're actually made out of clay, little balls of clay we sent to all the students in our morning meeting. And we pressed them into our shoes with directions and things. My Art That Pays class actually started the whole process of how should we collect evidence from the students and things like that. So, so essentially we had everybody making the shoe print tiles. I had a class kind of working from beginning to end with the project. So
excellent.
Yeah, so they're clay, different colors. We have mirror, little gems, and all kinds of things.
Yes,
so.
And the pictures looked awesome, just as far as how big it was in terms of how small all the pieces were. Yeah. So how did you come up with the design? I know you said it was kind of a park scene.
Well, I thought because of the beautiful park that's right across the street, the school is called South Park. We have the civility tenets actually stamped into each of the trees. We have a mirror river with a bridge that goes over, and we have some artist elements that are included. And
these pictures are just amazing with how much work has gone into those.
Yeah, we have quotes that the staff helped put together. I sent out a document, and the staff contributed different quotes, and we picked and chose some different quotes that we felt were essentially important to the building, to the school, to the beliefs of our building. Excellent. And put them together either in the sky or in the clouds or in the ground too.
And I understand you said the staff were involved with, inputting quotes and that kind of thing. How were the parents and the students involved in the project?
We actually had parents that came in and helped us work on it as far as gluing all the tiles. We had these boards laid out in my classroom, so staff would come in during their free periods, students would come in during their lunch hours, and yeah, before school, after school, during class. We would have mural day on Fridays, and
cool.
they would work on it, and glazing tiles, and it was good to see them all glued down and laid out once the grout was on. It was just a lot of fun to uncover all the gems that were deep beneath the grout.
And it's a really cool way to just get everyone involved. I mean, usually it's the students are all together and the parents, and there's that separation there. So to get everyone just part of it and teamwork, that kind of thing's really cool. And so, when you come up with an idea for a project like this, you have an idea of how it's going to look when it's done. Looking back at the finished product that you have now, is that the way you pictured it when you first started?
I really wasn't sure altogether. I could imagine the little dots like a Seurat painting, but really when I saw the textures, it was so much more rich and inviting than I anticipated, and the mirror really shined and brought life to that entrance. So that was really nice to have that all together.
Great. And going back to what made this possible, the SOAR organization, Barb, are there any upcoming SOAR projects or fundraisers that help support opportunities like what Erica put together at South Park?
Actually, there are two. We're going to be doing our annual fall mailing, in which we write to about 800 people and ask them to be generous, make donations so that we can support projects from Erica and other staff. Those funds go directly to the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, where all the SOAR funds are kept. And we also have our sixth annual fundraiser at the end of January. It's January 25th, 2014. It will be an evening with Janet Planet and friends at Beckett's Restaurant. And the tickets aren't out yet, but if you send your name to the Community Foundation, I know they'll get it to me, and we'll make sure you're on the waiting list or on the list to get an invitation to that. So those are the two main things that we do to support Erica and the other staff of the district who want to make these wonderful learning opportunities available to students.
Excellent. And where can people go to find out more about SOAR and maybe even make a donation?
Well, we do have a website. It's soaroshkosh.org. The website, quite honestly, needs to be updated, so the best place to...
they do have some cool examples up there, though, of what they support.
There are some neat things up there. But sending your money directly to the Community Foundation would be a good way to do that, and I'll be happy to return any phone calls should they come in.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for coming in today, Erica and Barb. It was great to hear about this awesome new project, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of cool projects coming up in the future. So thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for the invitation.
Coming up next, we'll talk about how the parents of children with disabilities have formed this organization that has really come together to create a support system unlike any other. We'll be right back. You're watching Oshkosh Today.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Let me pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
The Payne Art Center and Gardens in Oshkosh proudly presents Chihuly Venetians. This spectacular exhibition features 4 colorful and intricate vessels by America's greatest glass artist, Dale Chihuly, along with his celebrated Laguna Murano chandelier, a 5-part sculpture with more than 1,500 individual pieces of blown glass. Chihuly Venetians is on view now through October 13th at the Payne in Oshkosh.
thanks again for joining us on Oshkosh today. And now we are joined by Julie Kiefer and Sharon Oberkreiser from Down to Earth Oshkosh. Thank you for coming in today, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So first of all, if you'd like to just tell us a little bit about what Down to Earth Oshkosh is.
Down to Earth is a parent support group for parents who have children with Down syndrome or any different kinds of disabilities who are differently abled. And started off as a group that was just serving families with Down syndrome. And as we got to, our kids would get in school or be in play groups and we would meet other families, we would invite them to the meetings. And then there was also a second group that was working on issues with the school district. And they were families from all, realms of disabilities. And we decided to kind of combine forces. And instead of both of us trying to program or provide speakers for ourselves, it was really kind of a natural fit for us to join together. And so now we're serving just anyone who has a child with a disability who is interested in attending.
What an awesome, cool way to kind of form that little support group that you have. And I know you said that the group meets when and where and how often do they meet?
We meet the first Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock at the Hooper Building. Free childcare is provided by CP of Mideast, Wisconsin, professional respite care workers. Nice playroom, so we try to provide and make it easy for people that want to attend to join us.
Definitely. And if you could just tell me how you both got involved in Down to Earth Oshkosh.
We're probably somewhat unique in that I think we both knew ahead of time that we were having a child with Down syndrome. But some families don't find out until after their child's born, and obviously parents who have children with autism or cerebral palsy or other disabilities maybe don't find out until their child is older. So, but for myself, some abnormalities were found on an ultrasound, went on for further testing and found out that we were having a child with Down syndrome. And in that, kind of talked to some other families. My OBGYN was very good at connecting me to other families and ran into this group of people, and they invited us to a meeting and we were able to go even before we had him. And so that was a great support even before we had him, because we were sitting there with a lot of questions and concerns about what this was going to be like. And so that was really helpful.
Great.
We have pretty much the same story. We knew a couple months before Jacob was born that he had Down syndrome, and there was a notice in the newspaper that a meeting was coming up. And we knew we needed to learn as much as we could, as quick as we could, because we really knew very little about Down syndrome. So this really helped us to connect with other families, kind of get an idea of what to expect, and mostly just to take a breath and know that he was just a baby and a little boy.
You both are involved. Can you tell me a little bit more about why it's important to you to be a part of this group?
Well, it's important. We've just made some wonderful friendships, among all of us, for the parents as well as our children. It's a wonderful way for us to share information, to share our resources, whether they have to do with school inclusion or whether they have to do with medical issues. It's a wonderful opportunity to have social gatherings. We draw a lot of support from one another, and mostly we celebrate our children and all of their achievements, big and little.
And something that I didn't know about until I had started planning the interview with you guys is that October is Down Syndrome Awareness and Disability Awareness Month. Do you have anything special planned for the month?
We do. So during the month of October, I'll start with, we have a speaker coming Thursday, October 3rd at 6 o'clock. And again, we meet at the Hooper Building, which is at 36 Broad Street. And she is kind of a local expert on how to talk to your children with an intellectual disability about sexuality issues, puberty, those kinds of things. And this is kind of an open session that's good for parents to hear, but also educators and caregivers in the community. So that's the first one, and it's out on our website. And then also,
we will be presenting a book to all of the schools in the area, along with a poster, which, do you have the poster?
No.
Oh, a poster,
Okay.
so that we can promote, acceptance and awareness of our children.
Excellent. And how many, or actually, this year's book is a little bit different, I understand. How did you choose this one?
Well, in the past, we've mostly donated books that have to do perhaps with a child who has a disability or a child who's a little bit different. This year, we chose one that deals with sensory overload. Sensory processing disorder is something that affects a lot of our children who have cognitive disabilities, a lot of kids with Down syndrome, many children with autism. And basically, this book is kind of a way to educate people on why our children may behave in some of the ways that they do. Their brains have a difficult time sometimes processing sensations, whether it's sound, sight, touch, or just information that's coming into them. And sometimes the way they react to that can make people think that they're aggressive or non-compliant, when really they're just having a difficult time coping and expressing how all of that input is affecting them. So
Great.
we're hoping that it will help kids and teachers learn a little bit more about why they do the things they do sometimes.
Definitely. And we've got only a few seconds left here, so if you just want to quickly tell us how can people learn more about the group?
Sure, they can go to our website, which is www.downtooearthoshkosh.com. They could call Cerebral Palsy of Mideast Wisconsin, who is our agency that sponsors us, and that number is 424, we have it written down.
424-4071.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling us your story and getting the word out a little bit more about this awesome group that a lot of people might not know about.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll talk with Marlene Angwal and Sarah Gorski of UW Oshkosh Theater about their new show, The Underpants. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bergtower, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh city government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
Hello everyone, and thanks again for joining us on Oshkosh Today. Now we're joined by Marlene Angwal and Sarah Gorski from the UW Oshkosh Theater Department. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies.
Thank you.
And you guys are here to tell us about your most recent show coming up called The Underpants. Kind of an interesting name. Do one of you want to tell me a little bit about the plot of the show?
Sure. The Underpants was written by Steve Martin,
Okay.
and it's based on an old German play by Karl Sternheim, which really isn't funny, but when Steve Martin got his hands on it and adapted it, it became really funny. It's a good story. It's just a comedy about a woman who goes to the King's Parade, and her underwear falls down, and she's a newlywed, and her husband is very embarrassed, and he's afraid he'll lose his job. And they get a couple of renters to come into the house, and hilarity ensues. I don't want to give away the ending.
Yeah, you can't give away too much. Can you tell me a little bit about the process involved with putting together a production like this? I know you said it's a take on an older play, and it's been redone by Steve Martin, you said?
Yep.
So how do you go about even beginning to put this kind of thing together?
Well, we have a 5-week rehearsal process.
Okay.
And we have a costume designer, a scenic designer, and we all get together and we have production meetings and we cast the show and we rehearse it, and then the magic happens.
And you said it's a comedy. Can you tell me about the challenges of a comedy like this?
Well, there's a lot of physical humor, and,
Okay.
and Sarah is in it. Sarah plays the female lead, so she can tell you a lot more about that.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is that it's a very high energy show. And so with all of the physical aspects of it, it's keeping up an energy throughout the entirety of the show and making sure to not get tired and finding a way to keep it up that way.
Great. And you said it was based in a different time period. How does that time period relate to today's cultures?
I don't. The story is a human story. It's about a young couple that Sarah's character Louise has a journey where she discovers herself and learns to stand up for herself. And I don't think it's very different today than it was in 1910. Yeah.
Great. And I know before the interview you had told me that an organization called KCACTF had to get involved or was involved in the production of the show. What does that mean? What does that stand for?
KCACTF stands for the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, and we are a member. We participate in it. It's a national organization run by the Kennedy Center, and it promotes and supports university theater across the United States. And we're part of Region 3, which is Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And once a year we compete in the festival, and there are lots of ways to compete, and it's a great way for college students to network and see what other people are doing. We have there's design competition and acting competition. A couple of years ago we were one of 8 plays chosen in the region to present at the festival, and so it's thousands of people, and we meet once a year, and as part of the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, this play will be reviewed and responded to by someone from the selection committee at the Kennedy Center.
Awesome. Sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And I know you said it was adapted. What does it mean for a play to be adapted?
Well, it means they took Carl Sternheim's play, which was written a while ago, and Steve Martin kind of took it and made it so that it was more approachable almost, more understandable, more in modern day language as well, which made it a lot easier for audiences to understand, for production to understand as well, but to kind of bring it up to date almost.
Okay, and it's a pretty unique show. I know how you said the language was kind of changed around so that an updated audience can view it. What kind of audience would enjoy a show like this?
Oh, I think everybody would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It has a broad range of everyone from very young to old, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
Great all around then.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's on the docket for the rest of your season? I know we've got the Underpants coming up on, what are the dates for the Underpants?
September 25th through the 29th.
Okay.
And the shows are at 7:30, except for Sunday the 29th, which is at 2 o'clock.
Great. And how can people get tickets to the show?
People can go online to www.uwosh.edu/theater, spelled with an R-E, not E-R. Or the box office is going to be open next week from noon to 4, and you can call 920-424-4417 and get tickets that way. It's also open an hour prior to open of the show.
Excellent. And I know you've got some other shows coming up as the year goes on, and we're going to be having some recurring guests on the show to talk about each production you have. Can you tell us what we can expect for this coming season?
Sure. After this one, we're going to be in November. We're going to be opening up the Laramie Project, which is by Moises Kaufman and the Tectonic Theater Project. And then in February, we'll be opening up Bus Stop, which is by William Inge. And in April, we open up Antigone, which is the traditional Greek by Sophocles.
Excellent. And then once more, we got about a minute left if you just want to recap where people can get tickets and also when the show will be taking place.
Sure. The show runs next week, Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday through Saturday, the shows are 7:30 p.m. On Sunday, they'll run at 2 o'clock p.m. You can get tickets on our website at uwosh.edu/theater, spelled with R-E, or at 920-424-4417.
Great, and we're looking forward to seeing the show and as well as having you guys back in for your future performances that we'll be seeing as the season goes on. So thank you so much for joining us today, ladies.
Thank you.
Emily. And we'll see you next time you're in.
Okay.
Thank you.
So coming up next, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll get to feel a little way to get artsy as you're enjoying the downtown Riverwalk. So don't go away. You're watching Oshkosh Today.
Making the world a better place is an intricate puzzle. And piece by piece, the women and men of Rotary have worked hard to fight hunger, promote literacy, and move the world toward peace. But there is still much to be done, still some missing pieces. And one of those missing pieces is you. Learn how you can help Rotary put together a better world at Rotary.org. Rotary, humanity in motion.
The Payne Art Center and Gardens in Oshkosh proudly presents Chihuly Venetians. This spectacular exhibition features 4 dozen colorful and intricate vessels by America's greatest glass artist, Dale Chihuly, along with his celebrated Laguna Murano chandelier, a 5-part sculpture with more than 1,500 individual pieces of blown glass. Chihuly Venetians is on view now through October 13th at the Payne in Oshkosh.
We're back on Oshkosh Today, and now we're joined by Jim Evans, who's here to talk to us about the Oshkosh Gallery Walk. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jim.
You're welcome, and nice couch, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I spend a good amount of time on it. So, Jim, first, if you just want to tell us a little bit about the Gallery Walk and what it involves.
Sure. Gallery walks are something that a lot of cities do, where usually stores or galleries get together and have a common opening on a night or a weekend and try to get more people in to see what they have. And Oshkosh's Gallery Walk takes place mainly downtown, and it happens every month, which in a cold city climate, it's kind of rare. Where
it is.
We go every month of the year, where Appleton only does it during the summer months.
Oh, okay.
So.
Right. So can you tell me how it got started and when it even began? How many years has this been going on?
A long time. In 1996, there was a doctor in town called Dr. Verdi, and she had a gallery in her office space.
Okay.
And Art Space Collectives, which started in 95, was the other gallery in town. And she contacted us and wanted to know if we wanted to have a joint opening. And in October, it just happened to be my show. So I thought that was a good idea. So we had the very first Gallery Walk.
Excellent. Can you tell us when the Gallery Walk takes place, how often it happens?
It happens on the first Saturday of the month.
Okay.
And we've been doing that, again, since 2006. And this October will be our 205th consecutive Gallery Walk.
Excellent.
That Art Space and others have taken part in.
Are there any certain times then, too, on those first Saturdays that people can come, or is it
It's
an
6 to
all-day?
9.
6 to 9,
yeah.
okay. Who runs the Gallery Walk? Who organizes it all?
Well, it's kind of a unique event. If you would look at our business model, you would look at it and say, well, this can't work, because we don't have a board of directors, we don't have officers. We have 3 guys, Don Ford, who runs our website and makes the maps, Leif Larson, who takes the maps to the different venues, and me, the answer guy that gets to do things like Oshkosh Today, and that's it. Everything else is pretty much run by the stores themselves.
Excellent. A small little team you got going.
Yeah.
So can you tell me where people start in the Gallery Walk? Is it Is there a certain starting point, or is it a certain route that they have to take?
No, it's they can pretty much start wherever you want. In fact, there's so many stores that are open that it'd be impossible to see everyone. So what people do is they usually go to our website and find a place that they might want to start at and start there. Otherwise, like I, just pop into places that are open and just see what's up.
Cool. So what typically goes on at the places that are involved in the event that are holding art, the different stops?
Well, there's like 3 distinct types. There's co-op galleries, which Art Space and Jambalaya are, that usually have work up all month. Okay. Then there's the stores that usually, but not all, but usually bring in work for that one night. And then there are places like the Masonic Center and the Bank Building that usually groups of people get together and put on a show. Then there's restaurants like Ardenia's and Beckett's that usually have artwork up too. So there's, depending on what venue it is, you're going to see either a lot or a little or a mixture of everything.
Excellent. So can you tell us what we can expect for the Oshkosh, or excuse me, the October Gallery Walk this month?
It just happened again. October is my show.
Okay.
And we're going to have on Merritt Street, it's going to be kind of changed the name to Black and White Street, because I'm a black and white photographer, and at Hilly Quella's photo studio, there's going to be another black and white photographer, Scott Edwards. And we are traditionalists. We shoot film, we print in a dark room. So that's going to be photography as it was meant to be seen. Some of the other places, Bergman's Jewelry is going to be showing some of Marie Sewall's pottery, who's an old classmate of mine in high school, so she does really good work. Atomic Cats is going to have handmade purses by Celia Wild. And then the Downtown Merchandising group has been kind of coordinating window displays of different themes. In October, they're going to have pumpkins for Halloween. So there's going to be a lot of stores that have pumpkins in the windows. And then on November, they're going to have trees decorated by local groups, either school groups or other groups, charity groups, and they're going to have those in the windows for November.
Very cool, kind of festive and current with whatever holiday is going on around that time.
If some stores aren't open, they can still kind of be part of it with their window displays.
Right. And where can we go to get more information about the Gallery Walk?
Our website, OshkoshGalleryWalk.com, has a wealth of information. If the October walk map is not up yet today, it will be very shortly, so you'll be able to see who's going to be open for that month. And it has little descriptions of the shows that are going on and everything, so it's a good place to go.
Great.
And then if you go on the walk, every place that's open is going to have a stack of maps that you can pick up that night too, and kind of look and see what's going on.
Very useful. And I forgot to ask, is there any cost to attend the event?
This is absolutely free. In fact, we get a little bit of money from the bid board to help publish the maps, but otherwise it's all self-funded by either us or the stores and the businesses that are open.
Excellent.
So it's free, a
fun
free
and
event.
Cheap event to go to. So we got a few seconds left. If you just want to recap for us once more when the next Gallery Walk is, the date, the time, and how we can go find more information.
Okay. It's first Saturday of the month, and that is every month of the year. OshkoshGalleryWalk.com, GalleryWalk.com is our website, and there's a PDF file of the map, and then there'll be maps available at the places from 6 to 9 on that Saturday.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Jim, and telling us about the Gallery Walk. We look forward to having you in again soon.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to get a little German and find out what we can expect at this year's Oshkosh Oktoberfest. We'll be right back.
When I'm older, I want to be a singer. That's my goal.
An organizer of like do-gooders.
A media mogul. Just rule the world.
When I'm older, I want to be anything but the one that doesn't fit in, the one that people don't love.
Everyone deserves a dream.
Everyone.
But some of us feel depressed, anxious, angry, and do things that others think aren't normal.
If that's you, say something.
People will listen. Add your voice at oktotalk.org.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Let me pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Now we're joined by Matt Miller, who's going to tell us a little bit about an Oshkosh tradition known as Oshkosh Oktoberfest. Thank you so much for joining us today, Matt.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Emily. Thank you.
So how long has the Oshkosh Oktoberfest been going on? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. This is actually put on by Oshkosh Festivals, a group that was started 5 years ago. We introduced the community to Oshkosh Irish Fest, and that went over so well. A lot of our sponsors who are of German heritage asked if we would do a Oshkosh Oktoberfest. So this event has actually been going on 4 years now, and we're really excited. It's grown quite a bit. We have a lot going on. It's a whole day long of great activities.
Yeah, and I understand you have a new location this year. I know last year I think it was at the Leach, and
Correct.
This year it's
Yes.
in a new spot.
We have moved. It's going to be in the parking lot of the Dockside Tavern, and we're also going to incorporate the owners of the adjoining lot is letting us use the lot next door. So it's really at the corner of 6th and Oregon. We have a large tent. We have the warehouse that we're able to use, and then we have our race going on in the field next door for the wiener dog races, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool spot to be able to enjoy the river too. Just
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
fun atmosphere.
In fact, one of the events, if I might talk about that, is called our Oktoberfest 2K Beer Run and Costume Contest.
Yes.
And it's a loop around bridge to bridge, Oregon Bridge to Main Street, and we incorporate the brand new Riverwalk. So it's really exciting. People are excited to be out there. Both Beckett's and Ground Round are two of our sponsors for the beer stops. There's 4 beer stops. It's not really a run. We more encourage the costume because there are some drinking going on.
And I
It's
see
for
some
legal
fun
age.
costumes up here too as we're looking.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot. People have a lot of fun. One of the funnest costumes that I saw was somebody dressed as Scooby-Doo, and then later on in the day when we have our wiener dog races, he was actually in line ready to race against them. It's just, it's all for fun. It's all to raise money for the Cerebral Palsy Organization.
Okay, if you could talk a little bit more about raising money for the different charities. Is the Cerebral Palsy Foundation the charity of choice this year?
That is the charity for this event. It's a smaller event, so we wanted to maximize our benefits for that charity. But Oshkosh Festivals was set up. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're set up to build fun, exciting events to help local charities raise money, and then also to help the local businesses with some tourism dollars. And so far, in our 5th year, we've already given out over $60,000 in financial support to our local charity partners. So yeah, it's growing, and we have a lot of great things going on, and we just want to continue to build it and hopefully expand on what we can do.
Excellent. And I know you told us about the 2K Beer Run. Can you tell us a little bit more about other things that guests can expect at this year's event?
Sure, absolutely. The event starts off in the morning with the 2K Beer Run, but then we move in. First of all, we have live music all day. We have wonderful food. We have, of course, the wonderful German beer. We have some activities for the children and stuff. But we have, at 12:30, we start our Oktoberfest Olympics, which is, again, a lot of fun. It's all for fun. We have barrel rolling contests, a stein holding contest, which is called a Maskrugstämmen. We have a Frankfurter eating contest, and some Stein relay races. People have a lot of fun with it, and again, because of the beer run, a lot of people are in costume. We encourage people to wear their dirndls or their lederhosen and just get into the mood. We try and do this as a traditional Oktoberfest as much as possible. And with that, Mayor Burke Tower will be joining us at 2 o'clock for the tapping of the ceremonial beer kegs.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. That's a big honor, it sounds like.
Exactly.
So what does he have to do for that?
This is a traditional thing in Germany. They start their official Oktoberfest with the mayor of the town or community tapping the keg, and so we have incorporated that as well. And we have 3 very large German beer sponsors, Hackershore, Paul Anner, and Hofbrau. And we have a ceremonial keg where the mayor actually taps the tapper in. He has the honor to have the first beer, and then everyone can help themselves to the good German beer as long as they're of age, of course.
Yes, kind of like you said, mirroring an actual Oktoberfest.
Correct,
which
absolutely.
is so cool.
Absolutely. And with that, I'll talk about the music as well. We have this wonderful German show band coming in, the true Pa music. It's called Blaskapella Milwaukee, and it's a group of younger kids who are totally into it. We're really excited to have them. We also have Tuba Dan band coming in. We have Oshkosh's own Copper Box playing, and then we have Hard Drive, which is going to be playing during the 2K Beer Run, and the event will headline with Greg Waters and Greg Waters and the Broad Street Boogie is their name. So it's a whole day of activities: music, food, beer, fun activities, and of course we have our children's activities as well.
Excellent. So it's impossible to get bored in an event like this with live music throughout the whole time and all the different fun races and everything.
Yep, I would hope so.
So we got about a minute left. Can you
Sure.
tell me, does it cost anything to go?
No, this is a totally free event. We encourage people to come out, and I need to mention that one of the things that we make sure to incorporate in our events is something about the culture of the area we're doing. So German is obviously it's pretty prevalent up here, German heritage. So we have a cultural area where people can learn about the German culture, the traditions, how much of an impact the German people have had on the building of Oshkosh and northeastern Wisconsin. So we're really excited about that as well.
Very cool. And so if you just want to recap once more where it is and when the event is.
The event is Saturday, October 5th. It is at the Dockside parking lot at the corner of 6th and Oregon. There is no charge to attend. The event runs from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in and telling us about what's sure to be a fun event in Oshkosh coming up here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Next up on Oshkosh Today, we've got a sweet competition for the women in aviation. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Daniels. I'm sitting on stage at the newly renovated Grand Opera House in Oshkosh. Where I live, the arts are for everybody and everybody's for the arts. So do yourself a favor, buy a ticket to the Grand Opera House, see a show, you won't be sorry.
Hi, I'm Sarah Evans. Every day, the American Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies. When you provide a hot meal to a disaster victim or give blood to someone you will never meet, train in first aid, or help a member of our military, you join the American Red Cross. Your support makes a life-saving difference, so join us today. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and now we're joined by our final guest of the day, Rose Dorsey with Women in Aviation, here to tell us about a Frosting for Flight cupcake competition. Thanks for coming in today, Rose.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate being here.
Definitely. So first of all, do you just want to tell us a little bit about the purpose of this event? I know it's a cupcake competition, so.
Correct. Yes, the event, it's our third annual event, and we've started it 3 years ago because we needed to raise funds for a scholarship we started, and the scholarship goes to a young woman who is in her flight training and needs assistance in finishing up the flight training. So we started the event, and it's growing each year, and we're really happy with the community support we've been getting. So here we go again in October.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about the event itself? What can we expect at for the day?
It starts out with the competitors coming in, and they each have a table that they decorate. They choose a theme for their cupcake, and then they'll carry out the theme through costume and how they decorate the table. And we've had some interesting, very creative cupcake designs, and we've had people chose a theme such as Hawaiian luau or support our troops. One year we had two guys who competed, and they chose a working man's lunch theme and had an old metal lunch bucket and a thermos and a bologna sandwich and an apple, and they made Boston cream pie cupcakes and did a great job. It was a lot of fun.
Looking at these pictures, my mouth is watering of all the different kinds of cupcakes that are there.
People do a really good job with it, and in fact we were just at the Airport Expo, the Whitman Regional Airport Expo last Saturday, and people came up and looked at the cupcakes and asked if some of the cupcake establishments in the area had donated them because they looked and tasted so good. But it was all our Women in Aviation chapter members who made them.
Excellent. So, and how do they judge the cupcakes? I don't know if you mentioned that yet.
Yeah, it's based on taste, appearance, and theme. And so the judges, we limit it to 10 competitors. So I should mention right now, if you're thinking about competing, get in touch with us right away so we can get you on the list. But the judges we have 3 judges, and they taste they don't eat the entire cupcake, but actually just taste it, and look at the appearance, how well it's decorated, and then how well they carried out their theme. And it makes a lot of fun. The judges comment on all the different cupcakes and ask them about their ingredients and recipes and things, and it makes a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. So how can people get involved, whether it's registering to be in the competition itself or just volunteering for that day?
Yeah, it's well, there's a couple of ways. I think you had our poster up.
Yes.
And information. You can get in touch with us by telephone, myself and another lady, Linda. We do have information on our Facebook page and on our website. So there's a number of ways to find out more and get the application forms and things like that. It's just a small $5 fee per person or $10 per team to get involved. And of course, people don't have to necessarily help out by being a competitor. They can certainly come down and just enjoy kind of the judging shows. It's similar to Cupcake Wars, and purchase cupcakes. They're $1 each or 6 for $5.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that.
Exactly.
Especially if it's going to a great thing. I know you said that this is to support a scholarship. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the scholarship, it does go to a woman who is in flight training, and we have an application process, and we will accept applications from a woman located anywhere in the United States, but we do have kind of a preference for women in Wisconsin. And I think you had photos going by of one of our scholarship recipients. She was training out of Madison, and a really great young lady, and she's working on her advanced ratings now. And we're just really happy to be able to help out women who want to pursue their dream of flying.
Excellent. And now, can you just tell us a little bit about the Women in Aviation as an organization?
Yeah, Women in Aviation has some of the same goals that we do as a chapter. They're all about encouraging girls, young women, and even older women who want to be more active in either an aviation or aerospace career, or just aviation as recreation. And so they support them through scholarships. The international organization gives well over $500,000 every year to women, anywhere from basic flight training to women who are getting let's say Airbus type ratings and things like that. So it's a great organization to help encourage women in flight.
Wonderful. And I understand you're also at the Oshkosh Farmers Market.
We will be, yes. We'll be there this Saturday morning, and a number of our members will have cupcakes available for sale, and the same price, $1 each only. And we have them individually wrapped, so it's very easy to carry them with them as they walk down the street and enjoy a cupcake.
So if you can't make the competition, you can always go to the farmers market.
Exactly, and we would appreciate that.
And really quickly, if you just want to recap once more when the event is, where it is, and
Yes.
what time.
Saturday, October 5th, it's at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh. It's from 1 until 3 o'clock. And we should have all our competitors set up by 1 o'clock, and we hope to see a lot of people out, either come out, plan on competing, or just purchasing cupcakes, and we'd sure appreciate that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Rose,
Thank
and telling
you.
us about this exciting competition. I'm sure you won't have a shortage of people coming in.
I hope not. Last year we sold out of cupcakes well before the end of the day, and we were very pleased with that.
Yes.
And we'll see if that happens again this year.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now it's time to focus on health with Ted Stefaniak. This week we'll take a closer look on how sleep disorders might affect you even when you're not asleep.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Ted Stefaniak. Today we're at the Aurora Health Center in Oshkosh, and if you've ever had that feeling like you're not getting enough sleep, could be a sign of something more serious. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with Doctor of Internal Medicine, Mike Duffy. Well, thank you for taking some time with us today. We want to talk a little bit about sleep problems and what are some of the more common problems people have with sleeping?
Well, insomnia is common. There's a lot of people that just have a mild form of insomnia, just difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. It can come on at any age. There are more serious health problems that can sometimes cause insomnia, though.
Yeah, when should a person become concerned? I mean, a lot of people have trouble sleeping at night, but is it always a problem?
Well, I think people should be concerned if their sleep is affecting the quality of their life. And mostly during the daytime, if they're excessively drowsy, falling asleep inappropriately while driving or at work or in social situations where they shouldn't be drowsy, or even just when they wake up in the morning and they feel like they haven't had a good night's sleep and they can go right back to bed. Sometimes that's a sign that they're really not getting enough sleep, and it could be serious.
Yeah. You talk about insomnia. Sleep apnea is also another issue. Is that a more serious sleep issue?
Sleep apnea is probably the most serious sleep disorder people can have, and there's different kinds of sleep apnea, but the most common one is obstructive sleep apnea. And with that, what's happening is people are in bed all night and they think they're sleeping, but what happens is they never get a good night's sleep, and they're waking up frequently, or their body is waking up even though they're in bed. They're stopping breathing in the middle of the night, and they actually have a blockage in their throat, and so they're never getting a good deep sleep. They might be snoring loudly, sleeping restlessly. Sometimes spouses will say they wake up often and they're choking, stopping breathing, and then because of that, when they get up in the morning, they're just very drowsy and stay drowsy all day, and then they never get a good quality sleep, and it can affect their health. That's why it's more serious.
Yeah, and I would imagine, and people shouldn't really self-diagnose themselves whether it's insomnia or apnea, but the two are pretty different.
Right, and if someone really thinks that they might have sleep apnea or a serious sleep problem, the first thing they should just do is to go to their physician or nurse practitioner, whoever their healthcare provider is, and let them know that they think they might have that, and then they can be referred for further testing if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Sleep apnea, if left untreated, could that do quite a bit of harm?
Sleep apnea can cause serious problems because if you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain and to the heart, you certainly can get irregular heartbeats, high blood pressure. It can actually make it harder to lose weight, can make obesity worse, and it can also affect just the mental health and just work performance. People can be moody, irritable, depressed. And so sleep apnea can be serious both mentally and physically.
Yeah, if you think you might have sleep apnea, what's the best way to go about getting that taken care of?
Well, if you think you might have sleep apnea, usually what you start with is your personal physician or provider, and they may refer you to a sleep specialist, and then the sleep specialist will order a sleep study. And a sleep study is where you actually go to a medical facility and spend the night. And it's very easy to do, and the details you don't have to worry about, but they kind of hook you up and monitor you overnight. And then you're watched overnight and to make the diagnosis of sleep apnea. They actually measure the oxygen levels and see if you're not breathing during the night.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the causes of sleep apnea, and is there anything we can do to help avoid getting sleep apnea?
Well, sleep apnea is much more common in people that are overweight. That's probably the most thing that people can do is to lose weight. Things like alcohol you should minimize, and even sleeping pills can make sleep apnea worse. You have to be a little careful. But losing weight, avoiding alcohol, things also like caffeine and things like that can affect your sleep too. But by far, I think the main thing is the weight loss.
Right. And then going back to insomnia, it doesn't seem to be as serious as sleep apnea, but that can also create a lot of problems for you during the day as well.
Right, and there are people, you want to get a good sleep hygiene. It's important for people to have a good routine where they go to bed at about the same time at night and make sure the room is comfortable, it's not too hot, not too cold, and avoid doing things right before going to bed that might affect their sleep, like caffeine and nicotine and alcohol. Those things can actually make your sleep worse. And I usually tell people to do something quiet before they go to bed, like reading or just even a hot bath or something like that, and not do something stimulating. The problem with a lot of people these days is they're trying to burn the candle at both ends, and they're doing something a little too mentally strenuous at bedtime. So even computers, television, good thing to turn those off before you go to bed, and go to bed at the same time and leave yourself enough time to sleep.
Now, what about like physical exercise? Anything like that before bed?
Well, exercise is good for you, but I wouldn't do it just before going to bed. I think that's you probably should avoid eating and exercise for a couple hours before you go to bed. I think that'd be the safest thing to do. The exercise in general is good because you want to be tired when you go to bed, but not immediately before, because then your adrenaline level's a little high.
Yeah. I think you probably get this question all the time, but it seems 8 hours of sleep is what most of us have been told. Do we need 8 hours of sleep?
Well, not everybody needs the same amount of sleep. I think that most adults probably do need 6 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Younger children and teenagers probably more. You don't have to get 8 hours of sleep, but everybody's different. And if you feel rested in the morning and you're functioning well during the day and you're not drowsy, then you're probably getting enough.
Yeah. Any other sleep disorders we should be aware of?
Well, obstructive sleep apnea is the most serious one. If you have a sleep problem and you see a physician or get a sleep study, there are other things like restless legs and jerking of legs during the night, and there's some other kinds of sleep apnea like central sleep apnea. And there are diseases like, for example, depression. People that are depressed often don't sleep well. So it's good to talk to your physician about your sleep problem and why you're having a problem sleeping.
Okay, well, we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Okay, you're welcome.
Now, if you think you're having sleep issues, the best thing you can do is seek the advice of your primary care provider, or you can give us a call here at Aurora at 920-303-8700. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Thanks again, Ted, and it's already that time to conclude this episode of Oshkosh Today. Don't forget you can tune into CATV2 for all of your community programming. You can also check us out at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org for replays of your favorite programs, or you can also go to our YouTube channel. You can tune in to us on 101.9 WOCT, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter for city or programming updates. And if you're a Pinterest user, you can check out our board for the latest snapshots of the city. If you'd like to be a guest on Oshkosh Today, you can email me at ci.oshkosh.wi.us. Thanks again for joining us this week. We'll see you next time on Oshkosh Today.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 North West Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. To find replay times for Oshkosh Today, to be a guest on the show, or to watch online, visit our website at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org.